Let resolution be your solution.
I have a lot of listeners who talk to me about shopping online and buying products from these large retail warehouse companies that provide them and send them to their houses, and the pleasure and enjoyment they get from sitting in front of a computer screen, pressing keys and ordering things online. Bear in mind these things that they haven't been able to, not been able to handle them or touch them or figure out the durability of such items. And those items, they enjoy the pleasure not only of selecting them, but when they arrive, when the courier service or the postman brings these items or post lady brings these items to their house. And they get an extra boost of joy when they open those items and find that they're all in tremendous pieces and they have been shattered in their delivery journey from warehouse to their house, if you like. Now, personally, I prefer the actual shopping experience of going out, interacting with a local shopkeeper, having a chat, getting to know this person, them getting to know your regular preferences and orders. Shopping locally, that's just my preference. I've got to know the area that I now live in, some of the local shops, and I support them. And I think it's better for the economy, personally. But you may disagree with me, and you may think that it's not the most ideal way of spending this Saturday afternoon or early morning. But I think it's a great tradition. Apparently, it was said in history that Britain is a nation of shopkeepers. Well, to have a nation of shopkeepers, you must have a nation of people who attend those shops, consumers, if you will, customers, as I prefer to call them. Now, if you have positive experiences of yourself going into a shop, maybe a retail outlet, an amusing story, or a friendship you built up with a shopkeeper, give me a call. You know the number, usual number. Let's have a chat about that. I hope you do have a positive story or a number of positive stories. I look forward to hearing from you. Our first caller on the subject of local shopping is Jerry. Good morning, Jerry. How are you?
I'm all right, Mike. You know, I'll tell you what I like to do. I like to go to my local news agents. I'll build up a good reputation with him there, you know, and I get my local paper every morning. And what I also like to get, you know, is a bar of chocolate with hazelnuts in it. And I like them. They're very nice.
Well, that sounds idyllic. And you have a good rapport with the shopkeeper? Have a banter?
Oh, I do, and it's him that sometimes shares a joke with me, you know what I mean? And as I get me bar every morning, I think to myself, what has a hazelnut in every bite?
That sounds like a well-known catchphrase for a particular brand of chocolate bar with hazelnuts in it.
It might sound like that, but what I was thinking of, squirrels.
Now then, I had to press my dump button. Now, if he'd have said droppings, I might have let that carry on. Now, you behave yourself now, Jerry. I don't want to have to ban you from my show completely. That was Jerry, famous Jerry the Joker, getting a bit near the knuckle for my taste, and I hope nobody was offended by that. But anyway, I pressed the dump button, and that's the last we heard of that. I didn't want to dump his call, but it was getting too guttural for my taste.
Let resolution be your solution.
And our next caller on shopping locally is Toby.
So, I like to shop locally. I use Amazon, so the computer's in the bedroom.
Is that all you have to say, Toby?
Yeah.
Thank you for your call. So we're getting some very interesting and varied stories on shopping locally and what you prefer, and it's been quite interesting and illuminating. And the caller who's regularly interested in illuminating is Arthur, who's talking to us about shopping locally.
Well, I don't know, Mike. Good afternoon. It's nice to talk to you. Oh, hang on a minute. I've just checked my watch. It's still morning, isn't it? Good morning. Now then, I'll tell you what I like about shopping locally. Just around the corner from me, there's an actual market, you know, an old traditional sort of market with a load of different stalls in it. And I'll go in there and I know everybody. I know the fishmonger, I know him. Eric the fishmonger, he's a great bloke. We have a banter. He likes his horse racing. And we go down and there's a gym, the Green Grocer, and I buy me apples and pears. I don't mean the stairs, I mean the apples and pears from him. And that goes rather well. And he's all right. He likes the Wimbledon. He does. Mainly the ladies' matches. I don't know, it's a bit suspicious, I think, but anyway, that's the way he is. And sometimes, I'll go down there and buy a pair of shoes, you know what I mean? It depends what you want to do, you know what I mean?
So you see it as more of a social experience, a sort of a happy experience to meet people that have become almost friends.
That's exactly correct. That's correct. I'll go there, there's a news agent in the corner there, I'll buy my newspaper, you know what I mean? And, he just thinks to me like, my friend had a paper shop, it was on the seaside, sadly it blew away, things like that. It makes a little joke when you go around there. So I'll have a bit of fun with him, you know what I mean? And it's a great experience. I think people sometimes they go to these big supermarkets and they get lost in the aisles, and they just go in like a drone and they come out like a drone, you know what I mean? But if you go in there and have a bit of a banter, and a bit of a laugh with everybody, I don't see anything wrong with that. I think it's a great way to enjoy your shopping, to make what I mean is to make the shopping experience enjoyable. Anyway, that's just my 2 pennies. Anyway, main thing is, keep smiling.
Well, thank you very much, Arthur. It's a very illuminating call. Interesting how you managed to turn your shopping experience into a social experience. Sometimes people say that's what the high streets used to be about, especially in perhaps the smaller towns and less of the big cities. And I understand that, and something that sort of England is famous for shopkeepers and so on, so it makes complete sense. Anyway, our next caller is George. What do you got to say to us today, George?
Well, all this shopping locally is all very well and good, I suppose. It's very parochial, and, one of the things it does, it keeps the bus driver out of work because he's not taking you to and from the supermarket. In my day, what I did after starting with the supermarkets, I bought 17 smaller supermarkets, and therefore it allowed me to buy bulk and sell cheaper to the customer, well, cheapish to the customer, and, excuse me,
Well, you got yourself a bit of a cough there, George.
It's quite all right. It's quite all right. It allowed me to buy in bulk. I could sell in the supermarkets and obviously pay, livable, manageable, cheapish wages. And that's how I managed to buy my second property in the Maldives. So I think people ought not to be too down on the larger retailer. That's my honest opinion.
Well, it seems to have worked out nicely for you, the property in the Maldives. Well, I imagine you got yourself a bit of a decent suntan. You take care of yourself now.
Let resolution be your solution.
And our next caller, talking about the subject of shopping and your local opportunities, is Fred. Now, Fred often has his little dog with him, so we'll see what Fred is doing with his dog today. You're through, Fred. You're on the radio.
Oh, Mike. I just wondered whether pet shop that I often spend my time going to a local pet shop and getting some treats for my little dog, and down will he behave himself, and he gets excited when I mention treats, and I think to myself, it's just it's little treats for him to keep him fit and healthy, keep his teeth clean and all that.
So your dog's a bit lively today. Have you been on your walk? Did you take him to the pet shop with you?
Oh, I certainly did. I like taking him to the park as well and having a little mooch about, see what's happening. He does his usual trail, checking out all the smells and what have you, what's going on. And but yes, I think shopping locally is a good idea, just within walking distance. Because obviously, sitting at home, you're humming away on your computer, it's not healthy, you know. But whereas I take him out walk, it's for a treat. Now then, you behave. And yes, he likes it, you know. So sometimes I'll say, you know, oh, walkies or whatever, and we'll take him, you know, and that's how it is. So yes, I'm fully in support of your venture with regarding shopping locally, and so is my little friend.
Well, thank you for your call. I felt a bit hounded at one point, but I think I got over it. If you like this channel, like and subscribe our page. Share it with your friends. If you understand the underlying message here, which is about entertainment and fun,
Keep smiling.
then continue to stay with us. I look forward to interacting with you in the future.